still hiding your confidence because your outfit isn't doing the talking? My name is Wuraola Ubaka. I am called your profitable fashion coach because if your business isn't making money, why are you even in business? At Wura, we don't just make clothes. We create statements. Our timeless ready-to-wear pieces are created for the woman who walks in grace, owns her space, and turns heads effortlessly. And if you are a fashionpreneur struggling to turn your talent into real income, especially if you are stuck in bespoke and want to transition to ready-to-wear, the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy is your next step. We teach fashion creatives how to structure, scale, and sell profitably. From the woman who wears it to the woman who makes it. Confidence and profits go hand in hand. Wura dresses you. The PFA builds you. So come, join the movement. Wear confidence and build profits with Wura and the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy. The 5 invisible systems that every profitable fashion brand has. The one you will never see on Instagram. My name is Wuraola Ubaka, and I am called your one and only profitable fashion coach because I help you become more profitable by starting, scaling, or transitioning to ready-to-wear with confidence and clarity. And today we are going to be going behind the scenes to uncover these 5 systems that makes fashion brands profitable. You see, when we come on Instagram, we see photo shoots, we see packaging, we see pop-ups, we see smiles, we see BTS, we see champagne popping at launches and all that. But what we do not see are the silent systems in the background. The silent systems that make all that the things that we see possible. You know, when we look at the Bible, it tells us how the things that are seen are carnal and the things that are unseen are internal. So most of the times, the things that make our businesses build internally, that is, build the things that help us build a legacy business, are not the things that you can see from outside. Because the things you can see from outside, that's the noise. That's not the actual engine that is running the business. So tonight we're going to be uncovering, 5 things, 5 invisible systems that every profitable fashion brand has that you will not see on Instagram. All right, so let's move. Some of us run fashion brands that look successful online. Everybody thinks you're good, you're okay. Your fashion brand looks excellent. It looks premium online. But between you and your bank account, you know the truth. So if these 5 systems which I'm about to uncover this evening are missing in your fashion brand, then your brand is not a business. It's maybe a stylish emotional hobby, something like that. It is a stylish hobby. One of my former bootcamp participants said that, until she came into the bootcamp, she didn't know that she was running an expensive hobby. But when she came into the bootcamp, she realized that all she had been running was an expensive hobby. So, like her, some of our brands are expensive hobbies. So, let us move in. Let's look at the numbers first. Across global SME data, so when you study the data of small and medium enterprises globally, you will see that 82% of fashion brands collapse, not from lack of talent, not from lack of talent at all. The talent is in abundance, especially in Africa. But actually, 82% of fashion brands actually collapse because of lack of systems. Lack of systems is the reason why up to 82% of fashion brands collapse. So we need to let that sink in. It's not witches, It's not wizards. It's not village people. It is a system that you have unconsciously or consciously built or refused to build. That is what is making up to 82% of fashion brands collapse. So, system failure, that's the core reason for collapse. Now, let's circle back. If we look at Proverbs 24, it will tell us that by wisdom a house is built, by understanding it is established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with beautiful treasures. Some Bible verses say by knowledge the rooms are filled with riches. So wisdom builds. Understanding, which is systems, it is systems that establish, because understanding is that you understand the way something works. So wisdom builds, systems establish, and riches come after. The riches come last. So if you do not have systems establishing, what you are trying to build, your house cannot be filled with beautiful treasures. Your house cannot be filled with riches. There's a process. So let's talk about the systems that Instagram will never show you, but your bank account is begging for. Let's talk about those systems. So let's talk about it. System 1. If you're here, I would like to see you dropping, the systems that you're seeing in the comment section so that I know that you can see me and you can hear me. I like to see my comment section active. So system 1, pricing, profit first pricing and costing. Profit first pricing and costing. Profit first pricing and costing. Let me see that in the comment section. So many of you are not on their charging. Actually, what you are doing is that you are running a charity. You are donating. Because guess what? You do not price from strategy, you price from fear. Fear, you price from customer complaint. If I put this price now, will they hear me? So you're pricing from fear, you're pricing from customer complaints. You're looking at your competitors, you're saying, how much does this person charge? This brand, they're like my own, they're charged like this. But you haven't looked at your real numbers. So whether you're pricing from fear, you're pricing from customer complaints, you're pricing based on what your competitors are charging, or you are pricing because you are emotionally attached to your brand. This thing I do, it's just God that gave me this talent. There's no need for all this. Let me just reduce the money so that people will buy. So your first system is that you are not putting your profits first in your pricing and costing. So you need to first understand that the brain values what is structured and it devalues what is arbitrary. So when your price feels confused, your customers can feel it instantly. Your customers can feel it instantly because someone is asking you, oh, what's the price of that set? You say, oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. Your customers can feel it. So your brain values what is structured and it devalues what feels arbitrary. And that's one reason why you need to get a good grip of your pricing. Next week, we're actually having the product pricing masterclass, and it's going to be coming to you at a token of 4,999. That's 5,000 naira. A couple of people have already registered for that class, and it will position you to pricing profitably in this season and through the new year, because you don't want to go into the new year with the same mistakes you made with your pricing, and that's why you need to register for that class. All right, let's move. So your brain values what is actually structured. And that's why sometimes you may be selling, but somehow you are sold out, but you're still broke. You're sold out, but you're still broke. Or you're fully booked, but you're financially empty. So you work nonstop, but somehow you still cannot be able to pay yourself. You see, the thing about our Creator, and I'm Christian, so I always use the Bible in a lot of my metaphors. When you look at the Bible, you see that Jesus never negotiated his value. When Mary was oiling his leg with the alabaster oil, from her alabaster jar, People were like, this type of expensive oil. Why are you using this type of expensive oil on somebody's feet? But Jesus said, she knows what she's doing. So even Jesus knew his value. You need to make sure that your pricing reflects the value that you are bringing into the marketplace. And there are many layers to this, and a lot of this will be broken down in the product pricing masterclass. So if you know that you're on this stream and you struggle with pricing, you want to get yourself in that class. So your first system, the first system you need to build is a profit first pricing, a profit first pricing and costing system. All right, let's move to number two. System number two, and this is especially if you're running a ready-to-wear brand, is that you need to have a demand prediction and inventory control system. A demand prediction and inventory control system. Now, this week in the PFA Ready-to-Wear Bootcamp, we explored the concept of inventory. And, in the bootcamp, we go really in-depth with this concept. So if we are talking about a demand prediction and inventory control system, you will realize that your profit is not just what you sell. Your profit is in what you do not overbuy. It's in what you do not overproduce. So a lot of struggling brands produce from excitement. Or you see a fabric, you're like, oh, I love this thing. If I buy it, it will sell. You will buy it 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You're just excited, so you produce. You stock from emotion. Oh, I think everything you do is emotional. Or you launch because, Christmas is coming. I need to have a collection. Oh, New Year is coming. Oh, this is without really properly planning. And you discount based on panic. You're panicking when you're discounting. You're like, let me just discount so that, people will still buy from me. So when we look at the data globally, we see that 35 to 45% of fashion inventory becomes dead stock every year. And that's why you have a lot of people talking about, more ethnic and eco-friendly brands, because 35 to 45% of fashion inventory becomes dead stock every year. And that's not actually fashion. That's like financial suicide. When you think about it, it is financial suicide wrapped in fabric. That's what it is. So when you look at the story of Joseph, you see that Joseph did not store during famine. He stored during abundance. So inventory is prophetic when it's done with wisdom. You cannot be in the period of famine. You don't have enough money in your bank account, but you're buying. That's not your period of abundance. You have no business storing at that time. What you should be doing is actually trying to make sure that you're managing your inventory in a way that what is coming in is also what is being made in the business. So, for every piece that you do not sell, it is money that tried to breathe that died. So every time I talk to PFA Ready-to-Wear Bootcampers, I say, the money you're looking for is in your inventory. Your profits, they are in your inventory. And that's why you must constantly go into your system and reassess the price of your inventory in tangible terms. How much is stock in your inventory? Don't guess it. If you guess it, you will keep buying. But the day that you put pen to paper and you actually write how much you have in inventory, it will blow your mind. It will actually blow your mind. And that's why you need to actually do these exercises, because every piece sold is money that tried to breathe that got suffocated. So let's look at system number three. System number three that actually profitable ready-to-wear brands build is a sales engine. Not random posting, a sales engine. So yes, I said system number three that most profitable ready-to-wear brands actually build is a sales engine. Not random posting, a sales engine. Because at the end of the day, the first thing you need to realize is that posting is not marketing. Visibility is not sales. That's why you can see people, they may have 100,000 followers on Instagram, they have never sold one thing. Because some people, they look, be say they go come on money buy from you. You can have someone with 500 followers and they're flooring the person with 1 million followers, because visibility is not sales. Activity is not revenue. You can post every day and you will still be dry. You will still be operationally empty. You will still be tired. Because the human brain requires 7 to 11 touch points before it buys. That is consistent touch points of passing someone through a funnel. 7 to 11 consistent touch points of passing someone through a funnel before that person actually buys. So if you are actually making sales pitches and you're not passing it through those touch points, it means that you are breaking trust. So random posting breaks trust, and selling in an unstructured way doesn't build conversion. It is structured selling that builds conversion. Put that in the comments. Structured selling builds conversions. So even Jesus, he never moved crowds without sequence. When we look at the story of Jesus, you will see whether it was when he was teaching the Sermon on the Mount, or in the temple, or when he fed the 5,000, or at the wedding in Cana, you will see that he taught, he withdrew, he returned, he called, he sent, and then he multiplied. There was a process through which he was converting the souls that he won. So if sales only happens when you beg, when you DM, when you scream, then the business owns your nervous system. You're not owning the business. So from the moment that you are actually starting your business, you need to be creating a sales engine around the business. And I say this because most times I tell people in my bootcamp that I'm the first person in that bootcamp. And I made this mistake of not building a sales engine. I didn't even know. Let me not say I made a mistake of not building. I didn't even know that I was supposed to build a sales engine as I was building my business. I didn't know that, sales were, I knew sales were an integral part of my business. But I didn't know that there was a system to sales. But it is through the things that I have learned over the years that I've now been able to systemize sales. So that whether you're jumping on Instagram or you're not jumping on Instagram, you're still selling. Because there's a system. It's not jumping on Instagram that is sales. There's a system to which you make sales happen. And part of that system is what we teach in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. So you need to have a sales engine. That's your system number 3, if you want your fashion brand to be profitable. Now, let's look at system number 4. System number 4 is production and quality control. How many people are on this table? You don't have a production template by which things run. So, stress is what you wear like a badge of honor. If you're always stressed, you're always running kitty kitty kata kata everywhere, it is an evidence that order is missing in your business. So if this sounds like you're sewing at midnight, you have delayed deliveries, you are constantly telling somebody sorry, oh I'm so sorry, oh I'm so sorry, sorry, sorry ma, you are always sorry, you're always repeating mistakes every day, another mistake, or you're always emotional, whether you or your staff, someone is always emotional somewhere, it means that you are having an operations problem that you need to look into. The truth is that error rates multiply when processes are undocumented. And that's why when you come into the Ready to Wear Bootcamp, the first skill we build into you is the skill of documentation. Because whether you like it or not, you must document. Because we understand that documentation is a key part of your process. That's the way you transfer instructions, you transfer legacy, and you build a brand that can function without you. If you do not have a system of documentation in your brand, you're just running a hobby. So, memory is in your head. That's not a system. Memory is not a system. Memory is not a system. Skill is not a system. Talent is not a system. Systems are systems. things that you have actually written down, you have documented. Okay, in this place, in Wura NG, this is how we sew our circle skirts. Number one, you do the pattern like this, you place it on fabric like this, you cut it like this, you stitch it like this, you use this type of stitch for this type of fabric. You need to document. This is how we do quality control. For shirts, you do the collar, you do the cuffs, you do check the bottom fastening, you check the seams. Is it a flat fell? You need to document so that people who are coming into your system can actually take these things and run with them. So you need to be able to do that. Now, if you do not have an operation system that is functional, you are toying with your wealth, because errors multiply when processes are undocumented. Errors multiply when processes are undocumented. Yes. When we look at the instructions that God gave Moses to build the tabernacle, there weren't things that were random. Number one, that instruction for the tabernacle was very well documented. Very well documented. If you look at the book of Genesis, you will see that the instructions for the tabernacle were very well documented. Whether it was the measurements, whether it was the color, whether it was the type of wood, whether it was the craftsman, whether it was the vestments that the priests were supposed to wear in the tabernacle, everything was documented. That's the type of system of documentation you need to have your operations running on autopilot. That's the system of documentation you need. So profit hates chaos. Profit hates chaos. And the truth of the matter is that if you have a chaotic system, that's where you have leaks, because people see those loopholes and they capitalize on them in your business. So if you don't have a system by which you're tracking, you're measuring outputs, you're measuring results, people have something that you are weighing them against so that they know this is what is expected from you. This is the process that we have laid down by which you do those things. And this is the result we expect within this certain time frame. And if we do not get this result, this is what happens. The consequences. Once you don't have those things, you are building a system on chaos. And you will just be multiplying the chaos. And chaos hates profits. Or rather, profit hates chaos. Chaos hates profit, but profit hates chaos. So let's move. What is system number 5? What is system number 5? The decision-making and direction system. So again, I will still come back to documentation. You need to have a documentation system by which you make decisions in your business. So that is why you see a lot of confused designers. They're always chasing trends. They're always chasing reels. Every day you will see that they are rebranding. Today they are rebranding to this. Tomorrow they've rebranded again. Tomorrow, because they are following noise instead of alignment. You are following, there's no alignment. You are following noise. The brain cannot scale what it cannot predict. I'll use an example of when you go to the kitchen and you want to cook. You're going to the kitchen, you know that you are cooking jollof rice. You're cooking jollof rice for a party, it's 100 people, and you have a clear plan. Okay, 10 cups of rice, 3 cups of oil, this. You bring it out, you do your jollof rice, you can do it for 100 people. Now, contrast that to when you want to cook jollof rice for 100 people, but you don't know what quantity of rice you want to cook. You go, you say, should I use this bowl? Is this bowl going to be enough? You pour it in, you pour it out, you look left and right. You're not sure of what you want to cook. Your brain cannot take that information and multiply it. If you don't know what it takes to cook 1 cup of rice or 1 pot of 10 cups, your brain cannot multiply what it takes to cook 100 cups. So you will find yourself cooking this jollof rice and then it's soggy, or it's too hard, or the smoke did not enter inside, because there is no system. Because there is no system. When the Bible says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, it's not just talking about men. It's talking about systems. So your system should be clear that someone that sees it can run. It should be clear that it shows that you're not double-minded, that you're single-faced. Your system should show that you're a stable person, right? And that's why your decision-making systems should be clear. People should know what to expect when they do certain things because it should be documented. When people know that they can predict outcomes, it makes it easier for them to work within your organization. Your brand should not be a brand of, if you do anyhow, you see anyhow. No, we don't do that here. Your brand should be a brand of, when this happens, this happens. So that when you are dealing with your team members, you are not talking too much. By the mere fact that someone did something that was contrary to the documented procedure, they already knew the consequence. So if that consequence is deducting a certain amount for their salary, you're not going back and forth arguing with anybody. No, you're not doing that. Because by the time they did that thing, they had consciously or subconsciously submitted to that consequence. So that's the kind of clarity of decision making that you want to have within your brand, because that makes the people that build with you, because at the end of the day, your team are your vision carriers. It gives them certainty. And that's one of the things that keeps tailors or keeps people who work with you for longer. When they have certainty of output, they have certainty of outcome, they have certainty of decisions. It's not today someone does this, you do something, you pat the person on the back. Tomorrow, another person does the same thing. You give the person a strong punishment. Because the truth of the matter, if you don't have a system for your decision making, you will be making decisions based on impulse or based on emotion. And that has no place within a business. Things should be structured in a way that people know exactly what to expect. And so if you're here, I always say, try to have a handbook for your business, so that once people are coming in, you are training them with that handbook. All right. So let's move. So I've given you, so far I have given you 5 systems that are invisible. 5 invisible systems that every profitable fashion brand has that you will never see on Instagram. And I've said that the first system is the profit first pricing system. So you put your profits first in your pricing. You don't price out of emotion. You don't price out of fear. You don't price out of I like you. You price with profits in mind. The second system is your demand prediction and inventory control system. There needs to be a system by which you're able to control supply and demand. You're not constantly buying or constantly, running out of stock. You need to have a system by which you do that. The third system is a sales engine system. You need to have a system by which you are able to engineer your sales, not just posting and praying that something magical happens. No, sales is a system, and it is one that you need to consciously build as you start building your fashion brand. Whether that system is through private systems, whether it's through mailing lists, you need to build that. The fourth system you need to build is a production and quality control system. You need to build a production and quality control system, because stress is not a badge of honor. If you don't have a system within which you produce, you'll find yourself constantly in panic mode. And the fifth system you want to build is a decision making and direction system. People need to know what to expect decision wise. When things happen, they need to know what to expect, because when that is clear, it makes it easy for you to cascade the things you do downwards to other people, and it makes it easy for you to build a fashion brand that is profitable, simply because it doesn't have to constantly depend on your presence or you being there to superimpose everything. All right. So, what do we do next? You don't need another photo shoot or another influencer or another soft launch or prayer meeting. You need structure. That's what you need. You need to be able to put in solid structures that would help you actually build profitably. If you keep running your brand without this system, you will grow tired before you grow rich. You will look successful, but you will be unstable. You will be visible, but you'll be insecure. And you will be celebrated, but you will not be sustainable. So two designers can have the same skills, the same followers, the same gifts, the same exposure, but one will have wealth and another will not, because one has built the systems while the other hasn't. Inside the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp, we teach you implementable steps that help you build these systems. We hold your hand and ensure that you're building these systems. Because at the end of the day, it's not for me to come here and sing system, system, system. It is to show you the how. There's a method to the madness, and that method we teach meticulously inside the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. So if today's message has made you uncomfortable, it's because your next level is actually trying to introduce itself. So you need to submit yourself to actually the growth that you need for that next level. Because at the end of the day, it's not talent that makes you visible. It's systems. It's systems. Even if you're visible because of your talent, you will not be wealthy. It was in the last cohort of the bootcamp that I said, and one of our participants said that she had been running a business, but she had been living, but she had never made a living in her life. She had never earned a living. She had been living, but she had never earned a living. And this was someone who had won grants, loads of grants. But then she would get money and the money would fizzle out. So, and she calls herself the baddest fashion designer. So it's not about talent. It's not even about money. If you do not understand how to build systems that can make you profitably, make you have sustained profitability, you are going to actually run yourself into the ground. So the Ready to Wear Bootcamp is not for people who want to look like a brand. It is for people who want their brand to be able to feed them for decades, who want their brands to become legacy brands. And so I invite you to come in. And how do you join the Ready to Wear Bootcamp? You can send a message to the number that is floating on your screen now, or let me just put it in the description box. You can send a message to the number which will be in the description box and just say bootcamp, and we will actually hook you up. And of course, I have said that the PFA product pricing masterclass for ready to wear brands is actually going to be coming up on the 2nd and 3rd of December. That's next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And you want to be in that class because it will help you price profitably for the season. And if you want to now know how to price in January and beyond, that is going to be a good place to start, because the next time we'll launch that course is probably going to be sometime in the middle of next year. So that's a course you want to get into now. Alrighty, this has been Fashionpreneur Friday Live, and we have talked about 5 systems, the systems that you need to build that will make you a profitable fashion brand. I hope you have learned a thing or two. Thank you for joining me in this live. I can see you, Esther Amasa. I can see you, Florence Nightingale, and anybody else who is on the live. Thank you for joining. As always, this is our Fashionpreneur Friday Live coming to you on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy. I remain your one and only profitable fashion coach. My name is Wuraola Ubaka, and I'll leave you with this, that if your fashion business is not making money, why are you even in business? See you same time, same station next Friday when we'll be exploring another interesting topic. Have a great night. Thank you, Esther. Have a great night to you too, and goodbye. Still hiding your confidence because your outfit isn't doing the talking? My name is Wuraola Ubaka. I am called your profitable fashion coach, because if your business isn't making money, why are you even in business? At Wura, we don't just make clothes. We create statements. Our timeless ready-to-wear pieces are created for the woman who walks in grace, owns her space, and turns heads effortlessly. And if you are a fashionpreneur struggling to turn your talent into real income, especially if you are stuck in bespoke and want to transition to ready-to-wear. The Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy is your next step. We teach fashion creatives how to structure, scale, and sell profitably. From the woman who wears it to the woman who makes it. Confidence and profits go hand in hand. Wura dresses you. The PFA builds you. So come, join the movement. Wear confidence and build profits with Wura and the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy.